So hello everyone, here I am with the next part of the series in which I will be solving other questions which have been asked in the interview round when you are giving the role for data analyst. When you are giving a technical round, you are supposed to solve all these Excel questions. So in this time, I will be solving all those questions which has a basic function, that is a lookup function, that they are more focused about. Okay. So these are the 4 questions in which we will look for. First question is this. I will be taking question number 3 first because I believe that it's much simpler. So we should start with a simple question first. It's for analyzing the monthly sales data for Big Heart. It basically says that Big Heart, one of the leading agri-tech companies in India, provides farmers with access to a wide range of agriculture products through its online platform. And our task is to identify the month number for each sales column. It's a very simple question, but it requires you to understand that there is one more function in Excel which has a name called column. So basically they want us to know that which function is this. For example, if it's January, so what would be the number to assign to January? They have clearly been mentioned here that January should be resulted as 1 and June should be resulted as 6. Okay, so I want to give them a number. So it's in column. I would be using a function called column. Column has only one argument in it, that is called a reference. What is the reference? That means January. January comes in the column. If you see, it's in J8. So J in the alphabetical order, it comes on the number 10th. So if I press OK, there would be number called 10. But I don't want 10, I want 1. So how can I make 10 1? I just subtract it by 9. That's it. The answer is this. Now if I drag it from here to June, I would be getting the correct answer. For example, it's February for 2, March for 3, April for 4, May for 5, and June for 6. That is what they were asking. So the formula which I used is of column. Thank you. So hello everyone, welcome for the next part. In this question, we will be analyzing the client investment portfolio. It's a difficult question, so I want you to pay attention to it. So the question says that JP Morgan needs to analyze client investment portfolios to understand the distribution of their assets across different investment types. Our task is first to retrieve the investment amount in each asset type for each client. We have to calculate in second the total investment, and in third the total investment for a specific client and the asset type. Okay, so what is the table? So the table which has client ID, asset type, investment amount, and it ranges from 1001 to 1003 with different asset, namely in between stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, and all. And this is where we have to get the answer. Okay, in this type of question I will be using the function called index match, but you can also solve the question by using XLOOKUP. I'll do one thing. I will try to solve this question by using these two functions, both of them. Okay. First of all, it's not a simple index match question because we will be using two criteria here. If you can see clearly, first I'm looking for a client ID that is of 1001 and 1002, and then I will be using an asset type that will be stock, bond, and real estate. So it's a bit advanced level of index match. So follow along with me. I will be using first writing index. Index basically comes with 3 arguments, in which 2 are mandatory and the third one is not that mandatory. You can use it. The first thing is called array. As I have already told you in the previous part, array is something in which from where you want the answer to be. You want the answer to be from investment amount. But you can clearly see here that it is in the client investment data is in a tabular form. And if I'm selecting it from tabular form, there is one problem in this. The problem is that I cannot put this cell ranges in an absolute reference frame. I mean to say that if I want it to stick to it when I'm moving from one column to another, it will not stick. That is why I have to take it out from the tabular range. And how do I take it out from tabular range? Just click anywhere in the table, go to table design, and then convert to range. There will be a pop-up. Do you want to convert it to normal range? Yes, I want to convert it to normal range. Similarly, I want to do this as well from here. Okay, tabular range, convert it to range, and then press OK. So now both of these tables have been converted into a normal cell ranges. Now I will write the formula again, equals index. What's the array? This is the array. Now you can see the difference. Now it's changing from L10 to L18. I want to make it absolute, so I will click on F4. Okay, by clicking on F4 you will get the absolute ranges. Okay, so what is the index range? This is the index array. Now in the row number, do I know the row number? If I can clearly see the 1001, 1001 is from here, the stock is here, the answer has to be good. But if the data would be too long, it would not be necessary for me to see it like this. So I would be using another function that is called a match function. Match looks for lookup value. What am I looking for? Here you can clearly see that I'm looking for two arguments to satisfy when I'm using an index match. For two arguments to satisfy, I will be using one in the lookup value. That means I'm looking for absolute trueness. That is for one. In the lookup array, I will be putting two values here. First thing is what? I'm looking for client ID. I have to make it absolute, and which has to equal this client ID. And I want this formula to drag from row to row. That means I have to make this client ID absolute. That means I will be putting it in the absolute frame as well. I will be closing the bracket, and then I will be using another what you call argument. And to jump from one argument to another argument, we use a function called asterisk. It's basically like an AND function in mathematics. I will be using another bracket, and then what I'm looking for stocks. I have to make it again absolute, pressing F4, and then it has to be equal to stocks. Now remember, do I want to make it absolute? No, because I will be dragging my formula from K to L to M to N. So I want it to proceed. So I don't want to make it absolute. I will leave it like this only. I will close the bracket. What type of match I want? I want an exact match. Press 0. Close the bracket for match. Close the bracket for index. It's okay. The answer is 5000. Can you see? It matches here. And the important part is that once I drag it here, the answer would be perfect. I mean to say 5000 for stocks, 2000 for bonds, 2000 for bonds, 3000 for real estate. But there is a problem. There is no mutual funds for 1001. And there comes an answer called NA. Although NA doesn't bother me so much, but if I'm presenting this report to someone and he or she says that I don't want the NA in the answer, so how can I prevent it? I can prevent it using another function that is known as IFNA. There is a specific function in Excel called IFNA. IFNA has only two arguments. One is the value, so I want this as the value, and if I don't get this value, what I want to know that if I don't get this value, I would be writing not found. And remember that you have to add the things in columns. Okay, so I have wrote here not found. Close the bracket, hit enter. Nothing changes here because the value satisfies is here. But once I reach to mutual fund, can you see, instead of NA I got not found. So this is the one. So now I'll try. I want you guys to try to write the formula again for 1002. Just for your clarity, I'm writing it again. First I will use index function. What's the array? From where do I want the answer to be? I want the answer to be from L10 to L18. I will press F4 to fix it. In the row number, do I know the row number? No, I don't know the row number. I will using a match function. The match function, I have to satisfy two conditions. So it will be pressing 1 comma bracket open. What am I looking for? 1002. Okay, sorry. What am I looking for? I'm looking for in this client ID. I have to make it absolute and I have to make it equal to 1002. I have to make it absolute so that it will not change. Bracket close. I will put asterisk, bracket open, and then I have to make another thing. What is this asset type? The asset type, I have to make it absolute. It has to be equal to what? It has to be equal to stocks. Do not change because I want it to proceed with time. Okay, close the bracket, comma, match has to be exact, close the comma, close the bracket, and then press enter. 7000. I want you to clarify one thing. For 1002 stocks, the answer is 7000. It's absolutely correct. So if I drag it, can you see there is another NA here? So how can I prevent it from not happening here? Just writing a function called IFNA. IFNA. The value is this, comma, and if I didn't get the value, what would I write? I would like open quotes, not found, and close the bracket and hit enter. Drag it all the way to mutual funds and you will get the answer. Now in the last part, I would tell you that I can even solve this question by using XLOOKUP. Okay, let's solve the question using XLOOKUP. Equals XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is a simple way of solving this question, irrespective of you. If I am much inclined towards index match, but if you are into XLOOKUP, I can solve it for XLOOKUP as well. So XLOOKUP has few arguments. First argument is lookup value. If we had one lookup value, it would have been easier. But currently I'm looking for two lookup values, the client ID and the asset type. So, and the lookup value has a very simple syntax. I would be using this client ID. I don't want it to move. I will be making it fixed, and I will be using and, a simple and then I will be using this. Okay, so I have these two lookup values. Where am I looking these values? I'm looking first value here. I have to make it absolute, and I am using another value, that is this. I also have to make it absolute. If I get it, what is the return array? Return array is basically from where do I want the answer. If everything matches, I want the answer from investment amount. Simple. And it also has a special column here called if not found. If not found is basically IFNA, the function which I'm using in extra terms when it comes to index and matches, but XLOOKUP has it already built in. So if not found, I will be writing quote started not found, quote ends. What type of match I want? I want an exact match. And then there comes what type of search I want. I want to search from first to last. One. Close the bracket and hit enter. Can you see the answer is 5,000? If you want, you can even check it. For 1003 for stocks, the answer is 5,000. Okay. And if I drag it to mutual funds, the answer would be okay. For bonds, it's coming to be the value of 1,000. It's coming to the value of 3, but actually it has to be for 3,500. Let's see what the problem lies here. The problem, it basically it lies from J26 and L23. L23 is perfectly fine. J26 and L23, J10 to this, okay, and M10 to M8. Okay, M10 to M8. So this is floating. It has to be here. This floats. So here I have to make this thing as well fixed. I have to make this as well fixed because it is floating otherwise. So the answer is fixed now. If I'm gonna, sorry, now can you see? So these are the real practical world problems. If you are facing any problems, you have to look at where is the absolute referencing needed. So I just select it and then just paraphrase it. Now there comes an option called total investment. That means I have to add all of them. Okay, for adding I will use a simple sum function. Select the range, close the bracket, hit enter. The answer is this. I will drag it down. The answer correct. Now there comes the last part. The last part is for the client ID for this asset type. I want to know what is the investment amount. I will use both of these functions. For example, first I will find it here using index match, and here I will use it using XLOOKUP. First using index match. Index is what's the array from where I want the answer to be. I want the answer to be from here. Okay, just because I want the answer to be in one cell, there is no need of self-referencing because I will not be dragging the answer. So making it simple, the row number, from where do I want the row? The match function. How many matches I have? I have two things to satisfy, so I will be using 1 comma lookup array bracket open. First thing is bracket open. First thing I want my client ID to be equals to this, bracket close, asterisk, bracket open. I want the asset type to be equals to bonds, bracket close, comma, match type has to be exact, bracket close for match, bracket close for index. The answer should be 3,500. And if you want to confirm for 1,003 for bonds, the answer is 3,500. Now you can even write this answer for XLOOKUP. If you are using XLOOKUP, what's the lookup value which we are looking for? We are looking for client ID and we are looking for bonds. Where are we looking for? We are looking for, first it is here, and we are looking for this in here. If we got the answer, from where do I want the answer to be? From here. And if not found, obviously there will be founding, so I know I have to move forward. The match type has to be exact match. The search mode would be from first to last. Close it, press enter. The answer matches. So this is the correct answer to the question. It was a trickier one, but that's how we're gonna solve it. Thank you. Hello everyone. So our next question is about the lead conversion calculator. It basically says that lead squared, a company wants to analyze the conversion rate of leads generated from different marketing campaigns over the past 6 months. The conversion rate is stored in horizontal tables and you need to extract the conversion rate for a specific campaign in a given month. So basically what it means to say that here you can see the campaigns and here you can see the months and here you can see the conversion rates. Okay. What they want us to find that there is a thing called conversion rate calculator, which basically combines two arguments, one in which there is a campaign and one is there in which there is a month. Okay, and I need to find out for campaign A in the month of March. For campaign A in the month of March, what is the conversion rate? The answer has to be 6%. Okay, now I have to make it here with the help of formula. As you guys have clearly known that I am very much into index and matches, so I will take this formula with an approach of index match. Okay, and I have also got to know this thing that I can teach you with this question by using XLOOKUP as well. So I can solve this question using XLOOKUP as well. Okay, so let me solve this question first from index matches. How I can solve this question by using index match? Using index, the first argument is array. Array is basically, as I have told you earlier as well, is the place from where I want the output to be. I want the output to be from here. Okay, cool. Then the row number. Do I know the row number? No, I don't know the row number. I can use a function called match to find the row number. In the row number, in the match function, I have first argument, that is lookup value. Okay, so first lookup value. Okay, one more thing. Just in the previous question which we did, I used a format in which I placed one here and this thing. I used certain arguments here, the close the bracket and put asterisk and then again open the bracket and close the bracket. But I can tell you one thing, that this format is not going to work here. I will show you why. First, I will write the formula like I just solved in the previous question, so as to make you understand better. Okay, so the lookup value is 1. What am I looking for? I'm looking for two arguments here, so I will start the bracket here. First thing I'm looking for is the campaign. Okay, and where am I looking that campaign in? I am looking for this campaign here. Perfect. Close the bracket, put the asterisk, open the bracket. What am I looking for? Month March. And where am I looking for month March? I'm looking for month March here. Close the bracket, comma. The match has to be exact match. Close it. Close for, I just close for match. Let me close for index and press. So can you see? I'm not getting the answer. Now can anyone of you tell that why I'm not getting the answer? As I just solved the question earlier using this approach only. Okay, so the reason why I cannot solve this question is because I'll tell you one thing, that here I am matching this rows with columns. Can you see that in the campaign it's all column, and can you see in the months it's all rows? Index match doesn't work like this. It's a 2D function. Basically means that you can compare only rows with rows and columns with columns. And if you are allowed to use two arguments, you have to use different functions for that. I'll tell you how. So let me erase this function completely. I'll solve it for you. Using index, the array has to be the same from where we have to get the output. The row number. Can you clearly see here that index comes with 3 arguments? First is array, second is row number, and third is the column number. Can you see the column number has parenthesis around it? Basically, whenever anything comes in the bracket or in the parenthesis, basically means that it is not mandatory, but you can use it. And currently we are going to use it. Second thing comes for the row number. That means we are going to compare the row. Okay, row. So what is the row? This is the row, right? This is the row of the campaign. So I'm going to get in this match. First thing I'm going to look for the campaign, and then I'm going to look the campaign in these rows. Okay, sorry. I'm going to look for campaign. When I'm going to look for campaign, I'm going to look for campaign here. Comma, what type of match I want? I want an exact match. I want to close it. So the row is done. Now comma for the column number. For the column number, I'm going to use again a match function. Match. What am I looking for? March. Where am I looking for? March here. I'm looking for March in these months. Comma. What type of match I want? Exact match. Close for match. Close for index. Press enter. The answer is 6%. Boom. You got the correct answer. So that's how you solve it when you are going to compare two logical arguments in which you have to compare them, and one is in row and another is in column. I can even do it when it comes to XLOOKUP. Yes, XLOOKUP is much easier in this case, but I have to use two XLOOKUPs. Why? I'll show you. Using XLOOKUP, in the previous question, I told you that I have two arguments. One is this, another is this. I can use an AND function. And right? Let's try to do it the same way. For example, first I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for these. These are my lookup values. Where am I looking for? The lookup array. First lookup array is this, and the other lookup array is this. Perfect. If I got everything exactly matching, then what am I going to return? I'm going to return these. Perfect. Close the bracket, hit enter. Again there is an error because this doesn't work like this. Again I'm saying this then that XLOOKUP is a 2D function in which is not going to compare both rows and columns in the same manner. You have to use one XLOOKUP for column and one XLOOKUP for rows. So you have to correct it. How I can correct it? I will write it again. XLOOKUP. First thing first, what am I looking for? Let's say that I'm looking for campaign. Okay, I'm looking for campaign. Where am I looking for campaign? I'm looking for campaign here, comma. In the return array. In the return array, I don't want the answer. I have one more argument to satisfy. So I will write in the return array, I will write another XLOOKUP. Now what am I looking for? Am I looking for March? Where am I looking for March? I'm looking for March in these months. What's the return array? Now I wanted to return this value, because now first the outer loop will run, it will get an answer, and then it will compare the answer for the inner loop, and then it will get the answer. I will close the loop, and then it will get the answer of 6%. So this is how you're going to solve this question, first by index match and another by XLOOKUP. I solved it by using both the functions. Whatever you will prefer, you can do it. Okay, so this is the answer of the question. Thank you. Hello everyone. So for the next question, we're going to find the same thing in the same manner. It's a different question in which we are required to find the data which comprises of these two logical explanations, in which we have to match them and then we have to find the answer for them. For example, there are months and there are places. Okay, and it has different values. What is the value? It's the revenue value. Okay, for example, in the month of January for Mumbai, the revenue was 50,000. And why I chose this question is because I want you to tell me that I want you to have a firm grip on index match and XLOOKUP. So I will solve this question using index match and this question using XLOOKUP. Okay, one second, let me use the format painter. Perfect. How can I solve it? I will solve it just like the way I solved the previous question, using an index match question for a function array. Where the array is where we are going to get the answer. So row number, I don't know the row number. I'm using a function called match. First match is for the rows. So what's the row for? Row is for the month, right? I'm gonna use March. Where am I looking for March? I'm looking for March here. What type of match I want? I want an exact match. Bracket close. For column, I'm again going to use a match function. What am I looking for? Mumbai. Where am I looking Mumbai in? I'm looking for Mumbai in this. The match has to be an exact match. Bracket close, and the answer is 5300. For example, let me match for Mumbai and for March. For Mumbai and for March, the answer is 5300. 53,000. Perfect. The answer is correct. And this answer is dynamic. For example, if I'm going to write Delhi here, answer going to change 48,000. Okay. And if I'm going to write, for example, what I can write? I can write May, for example, May. The answer will change. Perfect. I can even get the same answer using XLOOKUP. How? By using XLOOKUP. What am I looking for? First things I'm looking for example, Delhi. I'm looking for Delhi. Where am I looking for Delhi? I'm looking for Delhi here. In the return array, I will use another XLOOKUP function. Now what I'm looking for? I'm looking for May. Where am I looking for May? I'm looking for May here. What is the return array if I got the answer? The return array should come from here. Bracket close for this XLOOKUP, bracket close for this XLOOKUP. The answer would be 50,000, the correct answer.